Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Yeah, the title says it all. I really think that if you read the book, you see every angle covered. Whether it is the angle from an environmental perspective or human health or spiritual aspect. She has talked about all different angles and showing why compassion is the only solution.
The launch of love is the only solution in the United States. Part 8 of 12. Please continue watching to find out more.
Vegan. Purify your body and mind.
Peace begins on your plate. 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 Peace begins on your plate.
O Gaza, peace is the only victory, not how many neighbors' dead bodies.
Supreme Master Ching Hai, vegan.
Before enjoying a fresh vegan meal on the beautiful islands of Samoa, you can start with Oleofele Lotu. That's how you can invite others to Let's Say a Prayer in Samoan, a Polynesian language spoken in the region. My name is Lamanu. The pious citizens of Samoa know that divine love is always near to help us in every season of our lives. May you always seek God's protection and follow His teachings.
There are 211 countries and regions which have animal people protection laws. Obey the law of your country. No more animal people slaughterhouses. No more hurting. No more murdering them to eat, to lab test, or for any reason at all. Be vegan. Make peace. So be it.
Welcome to the launch of Love is the Only Solution in the United States, Part 8 of 12. Supreme Master Ching Hai, vegan, is a highly gifted, multi-talented and fully enlightened master. She's also a world-renowned humanitarian, environmentalist, author, artist, designer, musician, and film director. Through all of her endeavors, Supreme Master Ching Hai, as previous enlightened masters have done, conveys heaven's infinite love and concern for all beings, as well as her boundless encouragement, and offers access to our true nature through the Kuan Yin method. Her newest book, Love is the Only Solution, published in 2021, and with hundreds of thousands of copies distributed worldwide, is an absolute must-read in these urgent times. It contains heartfelt messages from Supreme Master Ching Hai, dedicated to the vision of world vegan, world peace. She also identifies the root cause of all unfortunate events, the destructive meat-eating habit, which has made countless animal people endure untold suffering since time immemorial. Her message emphasizes that humanity must sincerely respect the universal law of love for all beings and transition to a compassionate vegan lifestyle to bring about positive change.
Such a handsome you are. Vegan? No surprise.
On May 27, 2023, the state of Arizona, famous for the iconic Grand Canyon, Red Rock formations, the Sonoran Desert, and plenty of sunshine, welcomed the premier event for Love is the Only Solution in the United States. Organised by members of our Supreme Master Ching Hai International Association, or Vegans, the event took place at the Phoenix Mesa Arts Center. Thanks to modern technology, international audiences were able to join virtually from their homes, with approximately 40,000 viewers tuning in from various countries around the world. Keynote speakers of the event included the Emmy Award-winning news anchor, Shining World Hero Vegan Journalist Award recipient, and founder of Unchained TV, Miss Jane Velez Mitchell, vegan.
Hey everybody, I am so jazzed to be here. I have met people who have come from around the world to be here.
Author of the best-selling book, The World Peace Diet, and Shining World Hero Award recipient, Dr. Will Tuttle, vegan.
Well, this is exactly right. What Supreme Master Ching Hai is writing about here is the key. The highest form of love is compassion.
Cardiologist and Shining World Hero Award recipient, Dr. Baxter Montgomery, vegan.
I'm looking forward to a heartfelt demonstration and expression of love by all the attendees and a great message from my colleague.
And Shining World Award for Earth Protection recipient and founder of Climate Healers, Dr. Sailesh Rao, vegan.
The vegan world by 2026. Believe it and let's make it happen.
Many distinguished guests worldwide also sent messages of support for this meaningful event, including the director of the documentary films Cowspiracy and What the Health, Shining World Compassion Award recipient and filmmaker Mr. Keegan Kuhn, vegan, Australian filmmaker, author and animal citizen communicator Miss Billy Dean, vegan, and founder of Young Indian Vegetarians in Animal Sanctuary UK, Mr. Nitin Mehta, vegan. Outstanding singers and artists brought beautiful performances to mark this special occasion. such as Mongolian chart-topping singer Miss Nomi Jean Cada, vegan, renowned Italian soprano Miss Giorgia Fermanti, vegan, lead vocalist of the Sonic Universe Mr. Alex Ardent, vegan, multilingual singer Miss Jane Kadange, vegan, and Ukrainian or Uranian sand artist Ksenia Semenova. In our series of shows, we're delighted to present this inspiring event honouring Supreme Master Ching Hai's book, Love is the Only Solution. Please enjoy Part 8.
So most recently, Wayne Shung, a co-founder of Direct Action Everywhere, and his co-defendant Paul Picklesheimer went into a massive, one of the world's largest factory farms of pigs, and they live streamed it all in 360 degrees. So nobody could ever say you took it out of context because you were seeing everything that they saw from the moment they went in to the moment they left. They left with 2 sick piglets, and they were put on trial, and they were acquitted. So it's very important that we get out there covering these trials. These people, last thing I'll say is, they're risking their lives. They are risking their lives to go undercover or to do these open rescues. And the least we can do is, report on their story. Thank you.
Quick question on that. So there have been people who get arrested, incarcerated for dog fights, cockfights, which, is animal abuse. And of course, you mentioned these examples. And of course, we know this animal abuse and the factory farming goes on all the time. Where does is it in where the laws are written, or the lawmakers saying that it's okay to abuse, cows and pigs, but not okay to abuse dogs? Or is it just the fact that the prosecutors are not prosecuting? Are they overlooking it? I mean, if I were to walk into a factory farm and video just like you showed, is that an unlawful act to be, torturing those animals? Does that violate the written laws as we know them, or are the laws inadequate?
Yes, it's a tricky wicket because obviously if you did to a dog what is routinely done to billions of farm animals, you'd not only be castigated, but you would be prosecuted. Possibly. One of the problems is that the institutions that exist do not prosecute. In Canada, just this week, we covered 11 people who live streamed horrific conditions in a pig facility in Canada while they were live streaming. Said there are animal cruelty laws in Canada. This needs to be prosecuted. They demanded, the media covered, and they demanded prosecution. Nothing. What happened instead? They were arrested, and they still haven't been sentenced. They've been convicted, but their lives are in limbo since 2019 because they haven't been sentenced. So while laws vary from jurisdiction to jurisdiction, yes, there are some applicable laws against animal cruelty in at least 2 of the cases that I mentioned, and it's just the police don't investigate and the prosecutors don't prosecute.
Also. Let's dive into a big question here. One universal principle of religion and spirituality is compassion. We are taught to treat others the way that we want to be treated, to do unto others as you would have them do unto you, and to abstain from killing living beings. How does our treatment of animal people and our food choices play a role in compassion? Dr. Tuttle, please begin.
Yeah, I think we all feel it. I think right at this moment, right here, we know that outside of this beautiful space, in virtually every building, there's a refrigerator with the flesh and secretions of abused animals, and that most everyone in our society is responsible for the terrible violence that we just heard Jane, talking about the chronic, ongoing, relentless abuse of other living beings who have interests that are as important to them as my interests are to me. How many of you have had a companion animal at some point? Some of you, I'm sure, yeah. So you know that these are beings with interests, and that they're capable of just as much capable of suffering as we are. So the problem, of course, is that we don't get up in the morning. The average person doesn't get up in the morning and think, wow, I just want to cause a lot of suffering. I'm going to go buy Kentucky Fried Chicken and order some chicken. They never think that. They think, I got to get to work. I need to eat something. I'm going to order something, some food. And so it's just basically a disconnection. You know, Carl Jung talked about this, that most of the horrific violence in our society is caused by disconnectedness. We just don't make the connections between our actions and the consequences of the actions. So we are, I think, as human beings, inherently compassionate. Is there anyone here who has never suffered? Right? And we've all suffered, and we would not like it. We would not like to cause others to suffer. We feel that. That's basically how we are. So the industry, like we're hearing, they try to insulate us from the suffering, not let us know. But actually, it's very interesting, because organizations and people who go into factory farms and slaughterhouses and even small backyard operations always find abuse of animals, because when we're using other living beings for meat, right, to kill them, they're just born to be killed. It inevitably brings out the worst in us, both as producers and consumers. And so our entire society, unfortunately, is enslaved to an obsolete mentality. I talk about this in the World Peace Diet. For some reason, 10,000 years ago, people thought they had to imprison animals and started herding them. That had never happened before, herding them, owning them as property. But once we started doing that, we crossed a line, back our ancestors did, because now we have to impregnate them against their will, steal their babies, have their babies born into slavery. I mean, that is really demonic, to actually have billions of animals, millions of animals born into slavery. Quite honestly, in a certain way, only slaves would ever tolerate living in such a society that does that, because that's so horrific. And then not only to cause that slavery, but then to eat it and feed it to our children. We have to be disconnected and unconscious. So what we're really talking about here is just becoming conscious, becoming aware, and then compassion, which is the highest form of love. It's the yearning to act, to relieve the suffering of others, begins to get activated. And then we can live a life where we're actually contributing to the solutions rather than being just part of the problem. And that's why this book, I think, is so beautiful, because that is the solution. Love, compassion is the solution. And it means not just for those close to us, or those of our nation or our race or our in-group or our tribe, but for all beings. Radical inclusion, include all living beings within the sphere of our kindness and concern. And that's really, I think, this whole message here this afternoon and this evening has been focusing on that from different angles. So I want to thank all of you, everyone here, for just diving into this and seeing it, and seeing the beautiful truth that there's nothing stopping us as a humanity from creating a beautiful, positive future. This earth can support all of us on a fraction of the land. There's nothing stopping us except for fear and for this habit that we just don't want to stop, this inertia that has 10,000 years. But now is the time. This is it, to give up that bad habit and go forth into a new world and actually live this and exemplify this and do everything we can to share this message in a positive and loving way, because that's really what veganism is. It's love, not just theoretical, but actually love in action, actually living it and not just talking about it. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll move on to our very last question. This last question is for all our panelists. During these turbulent times of unprecedented natural disasters and unseen diseases, what's the significance of reading and understanding the messages presented in Supreme Master Ching Hai's book, Love is the Only Solution?
Yeah, the title says it all. I really think that if you read the book, you see every angle covered. Whether it is the angle from an environmental perspective or human health or spiritual aspect, she has talked about all different angles and showing why compassion is the only solution. And it's sometimes seems obvious that she's just repeating the obvious to all of us, but it's important that we keep saying it over and over. And that is why I think this compendium of, it's a simple way of explaining it to people. We did have several documentaries that you had to watch to look at every aspect of this. She has just put it together in a simple, small book. So I think it's timely, and we need to heed that message, and time is running out unless we do. So it's urgent. Okay. I cannot overemphasize to you how urgent it is. In fact, I think the vegan world has to happen today. But I'm saying let's do it by 2026 at the minimum. Okay, so 2026 to me is just like a minimum requirement. We have to get to that by that time. When we first proposed it, people thought I was crazy. When people were talking about 2100, half of meat consumption by 2050. And I said, there is no data, there is no science that says we can wait that long. The science is saying do it as quickly as possible. That's what the science is saying. So if you're rational about it, we'll be going vegan today.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. To me, the beauty of the title and of the content of the book is something that actually Madeline and I have been talking about also in many ways for a long time, which is that we are called, I think all of us, not only to understand the abuse of animals, but to embody the solution of that, which is loving kindness, to actually embody it. So that means, I talk in the World Peace Talk, we go through these stages. There's the beginning stage of veganism where we're trying to figure out, how do I make the food and what do I do? And what do I say to people when they say, well, you're crazy to go vegan because if everybody went vegan, cows would take over the earth. So we got to eat them or they'll take over. Oh, I didn't think of that. What do I say to them now? So that's the beginning stage. If we get through that, we get to the second stage, which is also a difficult stage. I call that the angry vegan stage. Because now we're angry all the time because we're talking to people. We know how to make good food, but they say, well, I like bacon. I'm not going to change. And we get angry. We want to shake them until they go vegan. Right? But the good news is there's a third stage. The deep vegan stage is what I call it, which is when we understand the history and the whole system, we realize that people are wounded. When someone is wounded, you don't kick them and spit on them and yell at them and blame them and shame and criticize. You try to give them something to help them. That's what veganism is. It's love. It's love and kindness and compassion for animals and for the situation that people find themselves in, and finding skillful ways to help create the change through the media, through cooking classes, through things like this, where we're really creating something beautiful that will attract people, creating healthy, delicious meals, creating joy and health and freedom and abundance, and understanding that, creating communities of harmony and caring. We cannot do that without doing the inner work of meditation and introspection and self-inquiry and cultivating inner silence so that we can actually connect with the inner intuitive wisdom that'll allow us to live our unique life while we're here on this earth for the few decades that we get while we're here. So it's the inner work, I think, that's really called for more now than ever. For the vegan movement to be successful, we can't just go around hitting people over the head with this message. We need to embody this as love and live it. And it's because it's not what we say, it's how we say it, and it's really who we are as we're saying it. We need to transform ourselves so that there's congruence in our message, and that'll make our movement just take off like more than ever before. And that's why I really appreciate this, the whole Supreme Master movement, because they're living this. They're meditating every day for 2.5 hours. They're doing the inner work. This is an expression of spiritual yearning, which I think is really the key to everything. So much love. Thank you for that.
We appreciate you too.
I love the title of this book because it gets right to the point. Love is the only solution. And I will add that nature is very powerful. And do I have a crystal ball? No. But I have a theory that nature is going to do for us what we could not do for ourselves. I don't know if you saw last summer when it was super hot, In Kansas, tragically, there was somebody who went along a road and showed a TikTok video of all these cows who died from drought and heat and their legs up in the air. And it was so sad. And of course, mainstream media didn't cover it. But, you know, it's going to become harder and harder to do animal agriculture as the planet heats up in the summer, gets cold in the winter, and experiences more extreme weather, tornadoes, floods, fires. So I feel that that is one part of the puzzle. And the other part of the puzzle, I just got back from the Vegan Women's Summit, which I come from sort of the history of, you know, protests and activism. These are all business people, women, entrepreneurs coming up with these incredible new products, you know, pineapple leather and mushroom leather and all these incredible food products as well that are completely 100% vegan and plant-based. It's exploding. In fact, I think the reason they have that war room is that they're running scared. You know, the other side is running scared that once people get it, oh, I can have something that tastes exactly the same without killing animals, they're going to stampede. Hope that's not speciesist to say. They're going to head to that product if it is cost competitive. And it's that, again, the U.S. government standing in the way of that. Without subsidies, the average fast food hamburger would cost $10, $25. So you'd mentioned politicians. There are some up-and-coming politicians. So there is some movement in the halls of Congress on this. So I think that you have on one side all this entrepreneurship. I was just so blown away. You know, when I first went vegan, like 27 years ago approximately, I'd go into a vegan restaurant. I was the only one there. I knew the waiter. I knew the chef. I knew the maitre d'. Now I can't get a table. And I'm so happy. And what was exciting about going to the Vegan Women's Summit was that there were all these fresh faces. I knew a few people, but there were like hundreds and hundreds of women I had never met before who were doing all this incredible work. And so it was really inspiring. And I urge you to go to the Vegan Women's Summit next summer. It's going to be next year. It's going to be in Los Angeles. So I see these two things coming together and hitting a critical mass. And the last thing I'll say is I do believe in the law of unintended consequences. I've always also specifically fought for horses. And, you know, horses are still being abused horribly by the Bureau of Land Management as well as the carriage horse industry. But you can look at photographs of the city of New York before the electric carriage came in, and it was just all horses wall to wall. And then, boom, all of a sudden, 90% of those horses were gone because the electric carriage had come in. The law of unintended consequences. I do feel that we are going to see some really radical shifts very soon, and hopefully we'll all go vegan by 2026.
There is another effect for which the confirmed bad habit of flesh eating is responsible, an effect disastrous to the highest interests of man, here and hereafter, the hindrance to spiritual growth, the ruin of spirituality. The Reverend Alfred Mansfield Mitchell, vegetarian. There are 211 countries and regions which have animal people protection laws. Taiwan or Formosa is one of them. Taiwan or Formosa Animal Protection Law. The Animal Protection Law says animal people must be provided sufficient food and water, and their living space, among other requirements, must be clean, safe, ventilated, and at an appropriate temperature, so the animal person is not harassed, mistreated, or injured. Veterinary treatment is mandatory if the animal individual is hurt or sick. Animal folk fighting is banned. Taiwan or Formosa further enhanced the animal protection law in October 2017, adding new provisions outlawing the slaughter of dog and cat people, along with dog and cat person meat trade prohibitions. Those who eat or sell dog or cat folk meat are fined up to 250,000 NT dollars or 8,400 US dollars. And those who kill or torture animal individuals are sentenced up to 2 years in jail and fined 200,000 to 2 million NT dollars or 6,700 to 67,000 US dollars. Obey the law of your country. No more animal people slaughterhouses. No more hurting. No more murdering them to eat, to lab test, or for any reason at all. Be vegan. Make peace. So be it.
Make peace now. Your gifted life, has it been in vain? Do something now in deep repent. Just go enjoy all your privilege. Pray God and to even hell devils to spare you pain.
Beloved viewers, we so appreciate your company today during the launch of Love is the Only Solution in the United States, Part 8 of 12. Join us again on Tuesday, November 21st for Part 9. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television for Master Shares Love and Laughter with Working Team, Part 3 of 6, on Between Master and Disciples, right after Noteworthy News. May your noble thoughts absorb the auspicious energy to protect our planet with a veil of divine power.
Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds, hell not reach.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/AJAR.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule et suprememastertv.com/AJAR.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule y suprememastertv.com/AJAR.
మా కార్యక్రమాలు అందజేస్తున్నాయి అనేక భాషలలో. దయచేసి చూడండి suprememastertv.com/schedule మరియు suprememastertv.com/AJAR